Hi, Elaine here with New Hope Refugees NI in Decatur, Georgia, where I want to take a few minutes to reflect on my experience in my Churchill Fellowship travels of visiting the last few days with Rohingya refugees, of visiting this international community school here, and of being in English as a second language classes, ESL classes at the International Rescue Committee just today. Imagine being a 55-year-old Afghan man in your ESL class, struggling to make sense and to trace words like back, teeth, headache on a page and pronounce them in English so that you can explain to a doctor what's wrong with you. Imagine leafing through the pages on your desk through your own handwriting in your own language and trying to make sense of the foreign English words on your page of the way you've written them down in your own language. Imagine the lump that rises in your throat when someone asks you where you're from and you name your city in Afghanistan and realize that place where you have lived and loved all your life, you may never see your home there again. Imagine having finally arrived from Myanmar to a country where you no longer need to fear your house being burned to the ground by government soldiers or your daughters being raped, to a place where you try to phone your parents back in Myanmar and don't hear from them for days on end and are afraid they're dead because they've refused to leave their land. And then imagine your relief and your hope as you discover that they've made it to a refugee camp in Bangladesh, and your discouragement when you realize that you can't get them out of that disease-ridden place because they have no official papers with which to travel. And now imagine being a 9-year-old child on your way to the International Community School the day after Trump's election, carrying the fears of your parents and your classmates that you will be displaced again and that you won't have the chance of bringing your grandparents to live with you here in America. Imagine the fear, but imagine too the courage that rises up in you and the hope that rises up in you when you come across your street that leads to your school lined with placards put up by the non-refugee community around your school saying, "You're welcome here. We want you here." Saying, this land is made for you and me. Our doors and hearts are open to the world. We're happy that you're here. You don't have to imagine that. It really happened here in Decatur, Georgia, at the International Community School. And if it can happen here, maybe it can happen in Northern Ireland for bereaved, war-torn refugee families who have lost everything but hope.